My child, lean in, because what I am about to tell you carries a weight that cannot be spoken casually. Something has shifted around your son, something recent, something sudden, something that was triggered not by accident but by a deliberate choice he made only moments before you found this message. And yes, I speak not of yesterday, nor last night, nor even 1 full hour ago. What he has done took place just moments earlier, and its impact has already begun to ripple through the spiritual atmosphere around him. You can feel it, can't you? That uneasiness, that pressure, that strange tightening in your spirit. You are not imagining it. Your spirit sensed what your eyes haven't seen yet. And now it is time for you to understand what happened, why it matters, and why I am speaking with such burning urgency. My child, hear me clearly. Your son stepped into something today that he never should have touched. Not because it was evil in appearance, not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it was a choice made in silence, one that carried consequences louder than any words he could ever speak. This wasn't an innocent mistake, nor was it a moment of confusion, nor was it something he stumbled into blindly. It was a decision, a conscious, intentional decision, and that is why its weight is so great. Before I reveal what he did, what he lost, and what price now follows him, you must understand the heart behind my voice. I know you feel the seriousness in my tone. I know you sense the heaviness. I know you hear the discipline woven through every sentence I speak. But do not misinterpret it as anger. This is not fury. This is not punishment. This is grief. Yes, grief. Because before he was ever your son, he was mine. I breathed life into him long before he breathed in this world. I shaped his destiny long before he took his first step. He was designed for purpose, for impact, for spiritual greatness, not for collapse, not for compromise, and certainly not for the self-sabotage he stepped into today. My child, I am not disappointed because he broke a rule. I am grieved because he broke alignment with the path that was rising before him. He was standing at the edge of something extraordinary. A blessing was ready, so close it could have touched his fingertips. A spiritual shift was seconds away. A divine opportunity was positioned directly in front of him, one that you yourself prayed for, cried for, pleaded for. And when the moment came, when the test appeared, when the opportunity required courage, he stepped away. My beloved child, the part that cuts deepest is this: he knew what he was doing. He felt the warning. He heard the whisper inside that told him to resist. He sensed the divine pull urging him to choose differently. But he silenced that voice. He ignored the tug. He smothered the conviction. He allowed the temptation to feel more truthful than the truth itself. And that is why my favor has paused. Not disappeared. Not dissolved. Not gone forever. Just paused, frozen, suspended, waiting for the misalignment in him to be acknowledged and corrected. Because I do not release breakthrough into hands that are still gripping rebellion. I do not pour blessing onto hearts that knowingly walk in the opposite direction of their calling. My child, breathe. I know your heart is racing. I know questions are rising inside you like a storm. You are wondering what he did, why it is so serious, and what consequences now await him. And the questions are valid. You deserve answers. You deserve clarity. And I will give you both. But before I reveal anything further, you need to know something vital. Your son is not abandoned. I have not turned away from him. I have not erased his destiny. I have not withdrawn my love. If I had done those things, you would not be hearing this message right now. My warnings are not signs of rejection, they are signs of hope. I only warn those I still intend to restore. I only expose what I still desire to heal. I only reveal truth to those whose future still matters. My child, you ask silently, Lord, can this be fixed? Yes. Lord, can he return? Yes. Lord, can the blessing come back? Yes. But the path back is not automatic. It requires alignment. It requires humility. It requires a turning of the heart. And that turning begins not with him, but with you. You are not just his parent. You are the intercessor assigned to your household. Your prayers have shielded him from traps he never saw. Your tears have softened consequences that would have crushed him. Your faith has pulled him away from spiritual cliffs he didn't know he was standing on. He does not understand how often your voice has been a wall between him and the enemy. But today, something different is needed from you. Because what he stepped into today has spiritual weight. It has momentum. It has consequences that have already begun to unfold. And if no one stands in the gap, if no one intercedes, if no one pulls heaven into the situation, the aftermath of his decision will grow. My child, this is not a small matter. This isn't something he can hide and hope it disappears. This isn't a slip-up waiting to fade with time. This is a doorway he opened, a doorway that must now be closed before what's on the other side spills into the rest of his life. And that is why I am speaking to you now. Before I reveal exactly what he did, you must know this: a window of grace has opened tonight. Not next week. Not next month. Right now. A spiritual moment where change can happen quickly if you respond correctly. This is not fear. This is mercy. This is intervention. This is heaven stepping into the room before consequences solidify. My child, your son is not hopeless. He is not finished. He is not unredeemable. But he is walking on ground that cannot be ignored. And tonight, you and I must walk through this truth together. The truth about his choice. The truth about its cost. And the truth about the restoration that can still come. My child, now that your heart is steady, now that you have absorbed the weight of my words, it is time to move deeper. Because what your son did today is not something that can stay hidden in shadows. His action was not small, nor was it harmless. It carried spiritual force. It carried consequence. And it carried the power to shift the direction of his life if not confronted now. But before I reveal the moment itself, let me show you what led to it. Your son stood at a crossroads today, one that I placed before him intentionally. I opened a door, not a physical door, but a spiritual one. A chance for him to rise. A chance for him to walk away from what has been holding him. A chance to step into a new chapter that was prepared specifically for him. That door was not distant, it was close, closer than he ever realized. It was a moment meant to transform him. A moment designed to elevate him. A moment created to break cycles that have followed him for years. He didn't stumble into opportunity today. He was standing directly in front of it. And he felt it. His spirit recognized it, even if his mind could not. He sensed the shift, the pull, the divine invitation. But instead of stepping forward, he hesitated. Instead of choosing courage, he chose comfort. Instead of leaning into calling, he leaned into fear. And slowly, he drifted. My child, hear me clearly, drifting is more dangerous than running. Running shows rebellion. Drifting shows surrender. And today, your son surrendered, not to me, but to what was pulling him away from me. What he did wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It wasn't dramatic. That is why it is so dangerous. Because quiet disobedience is still disobedience. Silent compromise is still compromise. Hidden choices still alter destinies. Your son made a decision in the space of his own heart, and though you couldn't see it with your eyes, heaven saw it clearly. He reached for something he knew he shouldn't touch. He agreed to something he had no business agreeing to. He entertained something he should have walked away from quickly. He embraced a temptation he had previously resisted. And in that single moment, he stepped out of alignment. Not because he was unaware. Not because he was confused. Not because he lacked guidance. He stepped out because the thing pulling him backwards felt easier than the thing calling him forward. This is what grieves me, my child. He chose the easy path when he was born to walk the narrow one. He chose the temporary comfort instead of the eternal promise. He chose the familiar bondage instead of the unfamiliar breakthrough. But listen closely, what he did today was not merely a personal failure. It was a spiritual exchange. He traded something divine for something shallow. He released something sacred and grabbed something empty. And that exchange is what froze the blessing that was coming toward him. Not destroyed it. Not removed it. Not cancelled it. Just paused it. Waiting for the moment he realizes what he has done. You ask, Lord, what exactly did he do? What decision was so serious that it caused this? And my answer comes with clarity. Your son turned away from the very instruction I gave him. I nudged him. I warned him. I whispered to him. I placed conviction in his chest. I gave him clarity, signs, hints, even discomfort to make him think twice. But he fought the conviction until it grew silent. And when conviction grows silent, temptation grows louder. He felt the pressure of choosing correctly. He felt the weight of responsibility. He felt the demand for maturity. And instead of rising, he retreated. My child, your son did not fail because he was weak. He failed because he refused to step into strength. He did not fall because he lacked knowledge. He fell because he ignored the knowledge he had. He didn't collapse because he was unaware. He collapsed because he chose the path he has always chosen, the path of least resistance. But now, let me tell you the truth plainly, your son knowingly walked into disobedience today. Not rebellion. Disobedience. The moment he chose silence instead of honesty, the moment he chose avoidance instead of correction, the moment he chose self over spirit, he stepped into the very thing that pulled him off the track I placed him on. This is the act that carries consequence. This is the moment that cannot be undone by pretending nothing happened. This is the reason heaven paused his blessing mid-air. But do not misunderstand this pause, it is not punishment. It is protection. If the blessing had reached him while his heart stood misaligned, it would have crushed him. If the breakthrough had entered his hands while his character resisted growth, he would have squandered it. If the door I opened had remained open while he walked in compromise, it would have led to disaster. So I paused it. Because I would rather delay my gift than allow him to destroy himself with it. Now let me show you what this moment truly means. Your son's disobedience was not an act of hatred toward me. It was an act of attachment toward the thing he was supposed to release. He chose a person, a comfort, a habit, a fear, a pattern, a distraction, over destiny. And this choice is what caused the spiritual shift. My child, the danger of his action is not that it pushed me away, but that it pulled him away from me. Yet even in his mistake, I see something you do not see. I see the guilt rising in him already. I see the restlessness troubling him. I see the conviction returning. I see the heaviness forming in his spirit. I see the awareness of, I should not have done that, echoing inside him. Your son is not blind. He knows. He feels it. He senses the shift. He just doesn't know how to come back yet. And that is why you must stand in the gap now. Because what comes next is not just about him, it is about the spiritual atmosphere of your entire household. When one person in a family misaligns, the enemy attempts to use that opening to infiltrate the atmosphere of the whole home. To sow discouragement. To stir conflict. To weaken prayer. To break unity. To create emotional distance. This isn't just about his mistake, it's about the ripple effect that follows. And this is where your role becomes essential. You stand as the spiritual shield of your home. You are the voice heaven hears. You are the covering he doesn't realize he needs. Your prayers tonight will not be ordinary. Your intercession will carry weight. Your worship will realign what he destabilized. Your declaration will close the door he opened. Your obedience will bring clarity to his confusion. Your faith will become the bridge between where he is and where he must return. My child, this is not the end. This is the turning point. He made a choice today, but you have a choice now. Will you stand for him? Will you intercede for him? Will you lift him in prayer? Will you confront the spiritual imbalance? Will you cover him in this moment of weakness? Because your response determines the restoration. My child, now that you understand the choice your son made and the shift it triggered, we must go deeper into the consequences that have risen because of it. Not the consequences born from punishment, but the consequences that come naturally when divine alignment is disrupted. Because every decision carries energy, every choice carries direction, and every act, whether seen or unseen, pulls a person either toward destiny or away from it. What your son did today pulled him away. And the moment he stepped off the path, three things began unfolding instantly, even though he hasn't yet realized it. These consequences are not designed to destroy him, but to wake him. They are not meant to crush him, but to confront him. They are not there to punish him, but to push him back into place. So listen closely, my child, because the price of his decision is already on the move. The first consequence is internal. Your son's peace has shifted. His heart will not feel settled the way it did before. A quiet restlessness will stir inside him, gentle at first, then gradually louder. He will feel tension without understanding its source. He will sense discomfort without being able to explain it. He will find it harder to pretend everything is normal, because his spirit knows it is not. His smile will feel forced. His thoughts will scatter. His sleep will feel lighter. His conscience will whisper louder. He will not find the same sense of calm he felt before he made this choice. This is not torment. Is awakening. This is the internal pull of conviction trying to guide him back before the wrong path strengthens its grip on him. The second consequence is relational. Someone he expects support from will suddenly grow distant or confused around him. He may feel misunderstood, unheard, or strangely disconnected from people who normally feel close. This is not an attack on him, this is a heavenly intervention. When a person steps out of alignment, their relationships begin reflecting their inner imbalance. People around him will sense he is not where he's supposed to be, even if they don't know why. Some will back away. Some will question him. Some will feel uneasy around him. This is heaven guarding him, keeping harmful influences from tightening their grip, preventing the wrong people from stepping closer, and ensuring that those who cannot help his growth will not affirm his fall. And then, my child, comes the third consequence, the most important one. The blessing I had prepared for him, the breakthrough that was rising toward him, the opportunity that was inches away from touching his life, has paused. A spiritual freeze has taken place. Not out of anger. Not out of rejection. But out of love. You must understand this deeply. I do not gift opportunities to hearts that are heading in the opposite direction of their calling. If I had allowed the blessing to reach him right after he turned his back on the instructions I gave him, it would have hurt him more than helped him. It would have fed his avoidance. It would have rewarded his fear. It would have confirmed, but wrongly, that misalignment still brings elevation. And I will never reinforce the wrong lesson. So I paused it. The blessing is still his. The breakthrough is still his. The opportunity is still his. But it will not be released until something inside him shifts. My child, listen carefully. There are moments in a person's life where heaven delays something not because the person is unworthy, but because the person is not yet prepared to carry what is coming. Your son has not lost his blessing, he has simply lost access to it temporarily. And that loss itself is part of the awakening. He will feel as if something good slipped away from his reach. He will feel like a door that was opening suddenly slowed down. He will feel frustration without knowing why. But this frustration is not the enemy's attack. It is my correction. It is me saying, you are meant for better than this path you just chose. My child, I know this is heavy. I know hearing this is not easy. You love him. You want to protect him. You want to shield him from consequences. But you must understand that consequences are not cruelty. They are teachers. Consequences are often the very tools that shift a person into maturity. They create clarity. They expose weakness. They reveal attachments that were hidden. They bring darkness into the light. They shake the soul awake. And right now, your son needs to be awakened more than he needs to be rescued. But don't fear, because even in the midst of consequence, there is something happening behind the scenes that you cannot see. Heaven has not abandoned him. Angels have not stepped away. His destiny has not been erased. In fact, I am closer to him now than before, because moments of misalignment are moments of divine attention. The enemy sees his mistake and hopes to use shame to paralyze him. But I see his mistake and intend to use conviction to free him. And this, my child, is where you come in. Your role is not to panic. Your role is not to condemn him. Your role is not to question yourself as a parent. Your role is not to collapse in fear of the future. Your role is spiritual. Your role is intercessory. Your role is authoritative. You are the bridge between him and heaven right now. Your prayers can soften consequences. Your faith can reopen paused doors. Your intercession can shift his heart. Your surrender can align the atmosphere of your home. Your obedience can cancel the enemy's attempt to use this moment to plant seeds of deeper compromise. My child, you have more influence than you realize. You think your prayers are whispers. But in the spiritual realm, they sound like thunder. You think your tears are weakness. But in heaven, they are altars. You think your concern is fear. But it is discernment. You think you are powerless. But you are the reason your family has survived storms that would have broken others long ago. Do not underestimate what your voice can do right now. But before you pray, before you intercede, before you stand in the gap, you must know one more thing. This moment is not simply about correcting his mistake. It is about shaping his future. Your son is in a spiritual battle he does not fully understand. There are forces pulling him forward and forces pulling him backward. There are choices calling him upward and habits calling him downward. There is destiny waiting on one side and delay waiting on the other. And today, he walked toward delay. But delay is not destruction, it is a wake-up call. And the call has already begun shaking his spirit. Everything he tries to do in the next hours will feel slightly off. Not failing, but not smooth. Not blocked, but not flowing. Not broken, but not blessed. This feeling is my hand, letting him know, you stepped out. It's time to step back in. And my child, he will. He may not show it immediately, but his spirit is already stirring. But for the restoration to fully unfold, for the blessing to unpause, for the opportunity to reopen, one thing must happen first. My child, listen closely, because what I am about to tell you now is not only the conclusion of this journey, but the very key that will shift everything in your son's life if you receive it, hold it, and act on it. I want you to breathe, I want your heart steady, and I want your spirit open, because the words I am about to release are not just information, they are instruction, restoration, and prophecy woven together. Everything that has happened with your son today, every shift, every pause, every moment of discomfort, was not to destroy him, it was to get your attention and his attention at the same time. It was to pull both of you into a moment heaven designed long before this day even arrived. You must understand this deeply, my beloved child, your son has not fallen beyond reach. He has not stepped into darkness so deep that I cannot pull him out. He has not drifted so far that my voice cannot call him back. Today's failure was loud, but my mercy is louder. His mistake shook the atmosphere, but my purpose shakes eternity. You see the moment, but I see the story. You see the stumble, but I see the journey. You see the flaw, but I see the future. And I am telling you with absolute certainty, this day will not end in destruction, but in transformation. But before that transformation manifests, there is a final truth you must understand. Your son did not simply make a wrong choice today. He surrendered to the weight of something that has been following him for a long time. A pattern. A weakness. A fear. A distraction. A wound. Something that whispers to him at the edges of his mind, something that pulls him backward every time he is close to moving forward. And today, that old, familiar voice sounded louder than the voice of destiny. He didn't choose wrong because he wanted to ruin his life, he chose wrong because something inside him has not healed yet. Something inside him still believes he is not worthy of what I am trying to give him. Something inside him is intimidated by the magnitude of the blessing that was approaching him. Something inside him fears responsibility, elevation, growth, and accountability. My child, many people destroy blessings not because they are evil, but because they do not believe they deserve them. And your son is fighting a silent battle inside himself, one you do not see, one he does not talk about, one he tries to outrun instead of confront. That is why his choice today carried so much weight. It wasn't about the action, it was about the condition of his heart behind that action. His heart is tired. His soul is conflicted. His mind is noisy. His spirit is unsettled. And because of that inner storm, he reached for the wrong thing at the wrong time. But do not fear, because inner storms are places where I do my greatest work. I rebuild a person from the inside out. I remove lies. I lift burdens. I cut chains. I reveal truth. Nothing that is broken inside him is beyond my ability to heal. But now comes the part you must hear with great seriousness. What he did today created a spiritual delay. That delay is real. It is active. It is already affecting the flow of things around him. But delays are not denials. Delays are pauses given for correction, reflection, and redirection. I paused his blessing not to punish him but to protect him. I paused the open door not to take it away, but to give him time to step back into alignment. I paused the breakthrough because if he received it in the state he was in a few moments ago, he would have mishandled it and lost something far greater in the process. You might think a pause feels heavy, but it is the most loving intervention I could have released. And now, my child, I must tell you what will unlock this pause, because yes, there is a way forward. There is a path to restoration. There is a divine strategy that will turn everything around, not just for him, but for your entire household. And that strategy begins with you, because whether you realize it or not, you carry spiritual authority that he does not yet fully understand. You carry strength that he leans on even when he doesn't show it. You carry faith that has covered him more times than you can count. Your prayers hold weight. Your spirit holds influence. Your voice has the power to shift atmospheres around him. Tonight, when you pray, not in fear, not in frustration, not in anxiety, but in authority, I will respond immediately. I will send clarity into his mind. I will send conviction into his heart. I will send peace into his spirit. I will send protection around his path. Your prayer will not float into empty space, it will strike the atmosphere like lightning. And the spiritual fog surrounding him will begin to break. The confusion clouding him will begin to fade. The heaviness pressuring him will begin to lift. Your voice will guide him back to the place where he stepped out of alignment. And understand this, he does not need to confess aloud for me to begin restoring him. The moment he thinks the truth, the moment he feels regret, the moment he whispers a silent apology inside his heart, the atmosphere around him will begin to shift. I am not waiting for a perfect prayer from him. I am waiting for an honest moment within him. And he will have that moment soon. The discomfort he feels tonight will push him toward it. The restlessness stirring in him will lead him to it. The sudden awareness that something is off will guide him into reflection. And in that internal reflection, he will finally see what he could not see earlier today. Now listen closely, my child, because this is the part where everything becomes prophetic. What he lost today will come back. Not instantly. Not automatically. But certainly. The blessing that paused will start moving again. The opportunity that slowed will accelerate. The divine timing that froze will unlock. You will witness this shift with your own eyes. He will walk back into alignment, not because he is forced, but because he is chosen. You think today showed his weakness, but I tell you today revealed his potential. I allow missteps to expose what must be healed. I allow delays to prepare what must be strengthened. I allow discomfort to guide a person into truth they have been avoiding. Your son is not falling apart, he is being rebuilt. He is not drifting away, he is being redirected. He is not losing his destiny, he is growing into the version of himself who can carry it properly. And you, my beloved child, are not watching a disaster, you are witnessing the beginning of his spiritual maturity. A new hunger will rise in him. A new awareness will awaken inside him. A new humility will anchor in him. He will not remain the same after today. He cannot remain the same. Heaven has intervened. And now, one final truth, the truth you must hold tightly to: this moment was not sent to break your family, this moment was sent to build it. Your son will rise from this stronger, wiser, deeper, more disciplined, more aware, and more grateful. You will rise from this clearer, steadier, and more spiritually sharp. Your household will rise from this with unity, with understanding, with purpose. What the enemy hoped to use as a foothold, I have turned into a foundation. So do not tremble tonight. Do not panic. Do not fear the future. You are not losing him, you are leading him. You are not watching him fall, you are watching him awaken. You are not seeing the end, you are seeing the beginning of transformation. I am with him. I am with you. I am with your home. And what I have planned will come, because no mistake is strong enough to cancel what I have written. Rest now, my child. Pray with authority. Speak with confidence. And watch how quickly everything begins to turn in your son's life. His blessing is returning. His alignment is returning. His destiny is returning. And nothing, not even today, can stop what I have ordained for him.